OnBullshit podcast.
Episode 15.
Holy shit, we got it right.
This was only the second retake.
Oh, I wasn't gonna say that.
Oh, I thought you were gonna call us out. Okay, fine.
But then you didn't.
I did. You're welcome.
Alright, so we are calling this today the Twitter rant.
The Twitter rant.
That means we're going to log into our Twitter, which is already open, and we're gonna go down the line of tweets and rant about what they say.
What do they say?
Alright, the first one I'm seeing is, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. Well, I'll try. Kaivan Schroff. I'm not going to spell that out because that'll take me too long. But he tweeted, Trump won because there are American voters who think shooting guns at a hurricane will stop said hurricane. We need to invest in education. What are your thoughts on this?
I would agree with that. So, well, I think when this started, it was like two guys from what I understood. And
Please tell me they were drunk.
No, it was a joke. They were being sarcastic. They were like, they created a Facebook event, and they're like, let's meet up and shoot guns at the hurricane.
Okay, that makes me feel slightly better that it was a joke.
It was just a joke, and then like thousands of people liked it, and people were like really getting serious about coming out there to shoot a fucking hurricane.
Oh.
Because, bullets will totally stop that rotation.
Because there's enough firepower if you just believe in it.
I feel like this is a problem with why we go to war so much. There seems to be like something in the American psyche that makes people think like if they just shoot bullets enough or
if you overload it with bullets,
like stuff will stop.
I was going to facepalm, but I'm wearing my glasses and I would just make my glasses dirty. But oh my god, people are fucking morons.
People are fucking morons.
Why?
Special.
Is that what we're calling it?
Yes.
I don't even have anything to say.
People don't shoot a hurricane. That's what we were saying.
Please. Or, if you're going to shoot a hurricane, get really, really close to it and see what happens. We'll see you on the other side.
I do legitimately feel bad for people in Florida, though. That's gotta fucking suck.
Dude, even... Is it worse than Texas already? Because they were 17 feet deep flooding in Texas.
From what I understood, even deeper than that in some parts. But I don't know. It's already, I guess, up to Tampa now. So that's when I last looked it up.
But at least it's been downgraded to 3.
Yeah.
It was level 4 when it was going over the Florida Keys, so it doesn't help them any. And it's not helping a whole lot that it's down to 3 because it's still a hurricane.
Yeah. Still, getting 2 hurricanes back to back like that.
3. Because Jose's about to hit.
Damn.
So like we said earlier,
climate change is real.
It is fucking real, people. This is proof. The polar ice caps are melting, so that doesn't mean we have more drinking water. That means that the ocean levels are rising, so there is more chance of hurricanes like this coming to places and people that haven't had hurricanes in history.
Well, and the reason Harvey was so bad, it didn't even start out that big of a storm. Because like I said, I think it started out as 3, right? Mm-hmm. And then it expanded to be bigger than even Katrina because the water is so warm that the storm got disastrously big.
Whatever natural measures there were in place before that would divert it or slow it down, they're not there anymore.
No.
They're they have been developed. It's this land that usually marshland that would have absorbed it and redirected it. It's not there anymore because there's buildings there now. Those buildings are probably gone.
Yeah, and warm water it just leads to more energy, and the hurricanes pick it up, and the storms get disastrously huge.
And it leads to more bacterial mutation in the warm water.
That too.
So the global warming, it's giving us all these natural disasters, and it's making the already bad bacteria mutate even more. So we're gonna have less defenses against it. So we're gonna have something alike to a plague again.
Yeah.
Because where was it? Kentucky? Where they found some kind of bug with the bubonic plague.
Ooh.
Was it
I know
Kentucky?
I know what you're talking about.
It's been a while. We've been a little disconnected.
Well, it scares me because it's not even that, right? Like all over the world, they're finding superbugs now, and I think we talked about this on one of our other podcasts, like the overuse of antibiotics,
Oh god.
in like water, for instance.
Mm-hmm. In things where we don't need it.
Yes.
So that like, if you put antibiotics in the water, you're going to contaminate the water for one thing, and you're going to contaminate the land around it for another, and then you're going to build up, like, a resistance to the antibiotic for one thing.
Right.
And then the bacteria and the bugs are going, like, the animal bugs are going to build up the resistance to it as well. So you're going to have to come up with different formulas, different makeups of the same medicine. So it's going to be less effective. And more people are going to get sick, more people are going to die.
Bacteria and viruses evolve. That's what people need to understand.
Yeah, it's like it's the entire reason that we haven't been able to find a cure for AIDS, because the virus mutates so fast as it goes from person to person, and as it travels through the one person.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
On a completely random side note, though, I did enjoy the South Park where they determined that like grinding up lots of money
oh my
is
God.
actually the cure. I don't know if anyone's seen that, but you should watch
I
it.
haven't seen that.
It's kind of brilliant.
Oh, South Park, saving our lives, one episode at a time, solving the world's problems.
Seriously though, like all these fucking hurricanes, this has never happened as far as I know. Just one after another.
Nope.
This is
and
insane.
then the earthquakes off the Gulf.
Yeah, exactly.
Like earthquakes in places where there hasn't been a major earthquake in a long time.
You know, well, that kind of pisses me off because, like, I didn't mean to get into fracking now, but the fact that, like, Oklahoma here has more earthquakes than California now on a regular
Yeah, and
basis.
we're a central state. We're surrounded by landmass. We shouldn't be having earthquakes because we don't have any volcanoes.
Right.
We don't have, like, open bodies of water where a hurricane can form and, like, disrupt the environment that much. But we're having earthquakes.
Right.
Where was it? A couple weeks ago, there was one where I live. Like, my entire house shook, and we lost power for like 3 hours.
Edmond has been at the epicenter of a lot of the bigger ones.
You just told people where I lived. Whatever, I don't care.
Damn it, yeah. Don't go there. No, I'm sorry, but really, it has.
Yeah.
Like, a whole bunch of people have.
It's hard for... It doesn't blow my mind because where I grew up when I was little, we had continuous earthquakes, but they were like little, like to where you would barely feel a little bump. I'm like, oh, we just had an earthquake. And then I have gone through the ones where like the buildings shake and all that kind of stuff, and you gotta like hunker down and get away from like open spaces so you don't get crushed, or get away from closed-in spaces so you don't get crushed.
Run outside, basically.
Yeah, go outside to where there's very low chance of any debris falling on you.
Yes.
And then I came here, and like there was never an earthquake until just a few years ago, and I've been here almost 20 years, and they just started when the fracking picked up here. So like that's a big indication. So someone that goes from like continuous earthquakes to like no earthquakes for about 16, 17, 18 years, and then they start up again, and people are freaking out about it. Whatever, the world's coming to. No, you're just letting people frack for oil when there are different ways to get to it, but you're just letting them do it because oil is selling right now.
Right. or like conservatives will tell you, oh, well, Oklahoma's a fault line and it's active.
No.
Yeah.
And if it is a fault line and it's active, we are aggravating it with the fracking.
Yeah, no, really. What do you mean? What do you expect to happen, right? When you dig a bunch of horizontal wells
and when you're
ground?
literally vibrating the earth, it's gonna multiply, it's gonna radiate downwards, and then it's gonna hit a peak, and then it's gonna radiate back the other way.
And the fact that other states are bringing their wastewater to Oklahoma to put underground here. Like,
why us? We have enough shit going on in our state.
I don't know why that happens. But it just like all of this is contributing to man-made climate change. And I don't get why like people are still absolutely convinced that
it's
just a myth.
It was made up by the Chinese.
And now people believe in it, but now they're just saying, oh, climate change is real, but it's not man-made.
Yes, it fucking is!
It's the Earth just changing on its own, right?
Mm-hmm. If we didn't make so many artificial, like, we didn't make so many plastics, all the rubber, all the stuff that we don't need, the stuff that when it burns, it's killing our atmosphere.
Right.
We wouldn't have, 90, 95, 100 degree weather.
No. Agreed.
That does not compute. People don't understand that we're killing our planet. We're drying it out.
Well, you'd think, in the places where they get the water contamination, from the fracking, the fracking fluids or the natural gas getting in your water, and then the people being able to, light their fucking water on fire.
Like the Dakota pipeline.
Well, yeah, stuff like that, or even exactly like that, because that's tar sands, and tar sands, I think, from what I remember, is, the most toxic form.
Yeah, and we're just letting it contaminate the water.
Right.
We're just, throwing the slop right out there where anyone can get at it, or where it can get into anything. It can get into the dirt, into the wildlife, into the plants, and then spread out everywhere else. That's what people don't understand. When something's contaminated, they think, oh, it's just the one thing. No, it's like if it's a lake, the lake's contaminated, the sand's contaminated, whatever lives in the lake is contaminated,
right?
And then the wildlife and the plants that are around that lake are contaminated. It's to a lesser degree the farther out you go, but the contamination is going to spread.
And changing people's soil is not a quick process.
No, it takes years. It's the way the Great Depression happened. No, the Dust Bowl.
Dust Bowl, yeah.
People were we're getting all historical today. The way the Dust Bowl happened is people had their fields, and when it was time to plant something else, they wouldn't rotate it to for the nutrients to get replenished or whatever from the dead plants that were getting rotated into it.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was drying out, so no new plants were taking. So that's where the Dust Bowl came from. That's the same principle of trying to get contamination out. You can't just rotate it out. For this, you want it to dry out and then take it. But it's not going to work if you keep adding on to it, and it's going to spread even more.
Oh, man. You were, now getting me wanting to speak about GMOs. So, sorry. Yeah, not to transition. I think, you're spot on that point. But just, the fact that, like you said, as far as, the Dust Bowl, it bothers me now that we're getting a lot of genetically modified seeds, right? And we're getting, the Roundup-resistant seeds, and then so companies like Monsanto and some of the other petrochemical companies are making stronger and stronger chemical agents to kill plants that are now and weeds that are naturally becoming Roundup resistant. And we keep increasing the strength. It's almost like the antibiotics. I feel
everything's gonna be resistant to it, and you're not gonna be able to have anything stronger anymore, and by the time you have the strongest thing you can make, you're killing people.
The same thing the pharmaceutical companies keep doing with bacteria and viruses keeps happening now in foods too. We just keep making stronger chemical compounds to kill weeds that are growing more resistant to the same chemical compounds.
And they have the stronger chemicals, and then it's killing the plants, and then they go in and genetically modify the plants so the chemicals aren't going to kill them, so the plants aren't as good for you, so they're not natural plants, so you don't get any of the benefits from the fruits or the vegetables, so then what's the point of eating them?
Well, and a lot of farmers too are finding out, because what's happening now is we're getting such concentrated areas of the same crops now that whenever one crop gets hit with a disease unexpectedly, it just kills everyone's nearby, because they all fall victim to that same thing. They all have the same exact formula, or using the same bean to grow the same crop, and so they all die.
And that's the reason all our honeybees are dying.
One of the reasons, I think, yeah.
Because it's getting propagated mainly by the bees.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're pollinating this set of deceased acreage and transferring it more, and then it's getting into the honey.
Yeah.
So then people are they're eating all these pesticides without knowing that's what they're eating.
So they can ingest these delicious chemicals too.
Yep. So everything we eat is like it's processed, it's treated, so they add more chemicals to it. We're just very chemically irradiated, pretty much.
I hate it in a way, just because like it seems like when you go into Walmart now, like I love the fact that you can get all these fruits and vegetables year wide. Like you don't have to wait necessarily for them to be in season, but at the same
how
time,
good for you are they?
See, and the big thing I have against them is, like, it seems like they're starting to develop them to be flavorless. Like they keep genetically modifying them to be like winter hardy or water hardy, or it's just drought tolerant. And every time they do that, like they never get the same flavor out of it that you get from like the original tomato or melon or whatever the fuck.
That's why there's so many strands. That's why there's so many variations of this one fruit.
Yeah. And like most of the time, like when you go to Walmart and like buy this stuff, it just tastes like bland nothing.
Yeah,
and
like
just like this peach is fucking flavorless because it's a modified peach that's supposed to grow in any climate. So, I don't know. I just a lot of things bother me about GMOs.
About us killing our planet.
Yeah, I guess it all kind of leads back to killing the planet.
Yeah, and the thing that sucks the most is that the people that acknowledge that this is happening, they're like, I'm gonna die before the planet does, so I don't care.
Oh, that is the most irritating thing, yes. It's not gonna happen to me, it won't be my problem, who gives a fuck?
Right.
Fuck you.
It's already affecting us.
Yeah.
It is happening during our lifetime. You can't say it's not gonna affect me, when it already is.
Right. Well, and even if it's not going to affect you, who the fuck just has that mentality of like,
fuck
the
everyone.
next generation? Yeah, I'm done. So
the generation
your
before
fucking
us
problem.
that fucked up the economy.
Yeah, I feel like we're becoming hateful, but
we are so salty.
in our defense, though, the previous generation really screwed things up.
They really did. Like, it's hard for someone our age to buy a house.
Yeah.
Like, it was something basic like that people were getting when they were getting out of high school with their part-time jobs.
Right.
Is not affordable to us.
No. And just, like, even buying cars, right? Fewer millennials drive cars.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because we hate cars. It's because...
And the ones that do drive them is because they have to.
Yeah. It's harder for us to save up for anything. Most of us live paycheck to paycheck, and it's not because we're all, like, a lazy generation that just gets on the internet.
Yeah, it's because we can't afford anything.
Jobs don't pay as well, and then we all go to college, get a degree, and have massive debt we have to pay off.
Debt that we're in for, like, years.
Yeah.
Decades.
And the fact that, like, Congress made it impossible to declare bankruptcy, and, like, the fact that you have to pay off your student debts is just, to me, insane.
When did that happen?
It was under Bush.
Okay. See, that makes me, like, doubly glad that I'm taking so long to finish my schooling, but I haven't gotten any loans, so I'm not in debt. Like, the only payments that I have that could be considered debt is my car payment.
Yeah.
So I've lucked out in that respect.
I'm fortunate I paid mine off. And now, I mean, even though I'm in grad school, like, I'm just taking one class at a time and paying off the damn thing. I'm not gonna, like, load up with debt again.
It lowers my embarrassment for taking this long, the fact that I'm not in debt.
I think it's fine. No, my coworker's who's the same age as me, he only just now finished.
Yeah, see?
So
it's okay. Everyone can take as long as they need to.
Yeah. I encourage it, and people who want to go back to school, like, who are in, like, their 30s and 40s, even older, go for it.
Let's see. Are we about out of time?
Probably. I haven't been checking closely.
We're terrible at keeping time.
Yeah, we're a little
Oh, God, we're overtime.
That's alright. You have any concluding thoughts?
Yes. There is a quote I saw. I can't remember who wrote it. But it's like... Everyone wants to save the world. Everyone that pursues higher education has that drive, like, I want to save someone. But it's okay if the only person you save is yourself.
I like that.
So, there we go.
It's a good quote to end on.
Yeah!
Alright, people.
This has been AB.
And this is the Panda.
Bye!
See you next time.